Man, what's up? I can't see nothing. Yo, what it do, my guy? What's happening, my brother? Oh, we need a top tier offensive line coach so we can bring muscle to the trenches. Let's go. Gino will guarantee the Raiders' first overall pick. If we trade Maxx Crosby, we'll end up with 3 first-round picks. Damn. I think it'll be one this year and one next year, though. One this year and one next year. But if we can get both, man, I don't know. Bill Callahan, Mike Tice, Tom Gable. Look at what they. I mean, right? Right? Turn a bunch of guys that weren't first round picks. Billy D, what it do? What it do? You know, they took a bunch of guys that weren't first round picks and turned them into, studs. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Everything good? What's good? What's good? But yeah, man, the rumors are crazy. We'll see if anybody else comes in here and gets popping before we start talking about it. But man, Sunday's game was absolutely atrocious. The Raiders got dog walked, humiliated. Gardner Minshew put in the game, and some people were pissed off about it. But really, if they didn't put Gardner Minshew in the game, the score could have been like 80-0. The Raiders had no answer for Patrick Mahomes, for the defense. Patrick Graham got, was made look like a damn Pop Warner coach. Chip Kelly was also, made look like a Pop Warner coach. They had no answer for the Chiefs, man. They were absolutely, absolutely horrendous. And something has to be done. So, I know you've seen the title, right? Sharks in the water. There's sharks in the water. Every NFL team right now should be calling for Maxx Crosby. And if you're a contender and you need a defensive player and you're not calling for Maxx Crosby, there's a problem. But before we talk about all that, from what I hear, the Raiders aren't trading Maxx Crosby. They are not interested. Unless somebody wants to throw 3 first rounds, they're not getting Max. So let me know what y'all think about it. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling about the loss? Look at all the rumors surrounding me every day. I just need some time to get away. Right? But it's, how much of a rumor is it though, right? How much of a rumor is it really? You could tell Maxx Crosby is not happy. He's got to be frustrated. Everybody in this franchise and that locker room getting paid for the Las Vegas Raiders has to be frustrated right now. You were fed a bunch of bullshit. They came in and told you from the start, we're going to win 10 games. You've seen him talking with Mad Max in his interview when they brought him in. Max wanted a trade. Max wanted out last year, and they threw money at him and got him to come back into the building. So, it's absolutely wild. You're German? Okay, well, please don't spam the chat. We get it. We got it the first time, bro. I appreciate you being a big fan, my guy. Appreciate you. D-Menace in the building. What's good, my guy? Long time no see. Raider Menace in the building. My guy Geomex. Billy D. What's good? Appreciate y'all. Lewis Lowe. What? I have no idea what that says. I'm not even going to read all that. Can I get a shout out? I'm a fan. Yeah, shout out EJ. I don't even know how to say your last name, bro. So we'll just go with EJ. How about that? Appreciate you pulling up. Yeah, man. So what do the Raiders do? What do the Raiders do? Is Maxx Crosby being traded an option? Should he be traded? Should it be an option? Should it be talked about? Should they take phone calls? I believe yes. All the above. All the above. If you're a Maxx Crosby fan, you could not let him sit in this franchise and this organization and, and just be humiliated, week after week after week. When he's going out, he's giving it his all. On the other hand, as a Raider fan, I could not sit here and watch them pay this man $36 million to play, half a season every season and not win, not change the defense, not make it better, right? And it's not his fault. But the guys around him, they're putting around him, when they do get better and they do start to develop, the Raiders get rid of them. So, it's not fair to Maxx Crosby to be stuck in this situation and, want to be loyal to the cause like the fan base is. And it's not fair for us to have to sit here and watch this trash that they put on the field. So, either way, I'm good with it. Crosby to the Steelers, man, him and Watt would be, good Lord, undeniably, yeah, crazy. I mean, I don't know if the Steelers are willing to give first-round picks, but if anybody's a team that would be willing to give them up, it would probably be the Steelers, right? They haven't had too many first-round picks over the last 10 years. I don't want Max to go anywhere. Can't be mad at him if he does decide to leave. I mean, I don't want him to go nowhere either. But if he doesn't want to be here and he's frustrated, which we all know he's got to be, and we get offered the right amount, man, you can't be bitter about him wanting to move on. And the Dallas Cowboys make all the sense in the world, right? The 49ers, I've heard, some talks about the 49ers, the Buffalo Bills. All those are teams that he has the best chance to win the Super Bowl, which is, he says is his biggest, his biggest dream, all right? That's what he's striving for. But if that's the case, I believe he would have left last year, right? He wouldn't have took the more money, because unless he's brainwashed like the rest of us and just keeps believing this franchise is going to get better overnight with the holes we have, it's just not fair. It's not fair for us. It's not fair to him. And he deserves better. And we deserve better. We deserve better product. Like, people hated on Derek Carr. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. People hated on Derek Carr, right? But Derek Carr won us games. Derek Carr won us games in the fourth quarter. Single-handedly, the quarterback brought us back more than any quarterback in the history of the NFL, right? First or second on the list. He won us games, and y'all hated on him. But you love Maxx Crosby that's never, ever won us a game. Okay, I'll take that back. He got a sack in the end zone and won a game. But he's never had an interception for a game-winning, touchdown, a fumble for a game-winning touchdown. Single-handedly, he has not won as many games. But on the other hand, we hated on a quarterback and we had to get rid of him, who won, more games in the fourth quarter than any quarterback in the history. So I just, I don't see it. I don't see it. One player on defense is not going to make a difference if you don't have guys around him. And every time we get guys around him, they trade them away. Trayvon Mora, Nate Hobbs, Divine Diablo, all playing lights out, right? All playing lights out. All these guys that were Raiders, that were drafted Raiders, we let somebody else come in and kick them to the curb for Geno Smith. Come on, man, it's horrible, and I don't see why anybody would want to be here. Jacoby Myers said in his interview today, yeah, he still wants out. He's not happy. There's a reason. There's a reason he wanted out before the season started. There's a reason. There's definitely a reason. Amari Cooper came here for 3 or 4 days and said, nope, time to pack it in. I'm done. I'm done with this shit. There's got to be a reason. Sorry, I hit the button 5 minutes before the live was supposed to start, so I didn't get to finish my dinner. You're a Raiders fan, but your wife's a Steelers fan? You gotta love those good rivals, right? Makes it fun. I don't think Max is going anywhere. Can't be mad if he decides to leave. Nah, you can't be mad, but I don't see him going anywhere, right? I see it's just rumors. I see there's sharks in the water, right? The NFL wants to take advantage. These NFL teams want to take advantage of a team that's down, right? Kick people when they're down. And what better chance for you to get, a player that's going to help your team get over that hump and get to the next level if you're a playoff contender than to go get, Maxx Crosby when he's down. And if you don't know, now you know. I don't know if Maxx Crosby already followed these guys or if he just started following them. But there's about 12 players from the Dallas Cowboys that Maxx Crosby is following. Now, I don't know if that was recently or not recently. Didn't practice today, right? Because of the knee injury, because of the back injury, so he wasn't at practice. It could be, just all smoke, but it could not be smoke, right? It could be facts. If he's just now following these Cowboys, why is he following Dak Prescott and all these guys all of a sudden, right? To me, there's got to be something there. Now, if he was following them before, then it is what it is. It doesn't tell you, right, how long he's been following them. You don't get all that information on X. But to follow, almost 10 different Dallas Cowboys, to me, that says something. He's from Texas, so you get to go home, you get to play for a contender who traded away their piece that was, their ticket to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Their offense is playing lights out. Their defense is struggling, to say the least. And Maxx Crosby would change all that. Appreciate you for running the chat, my guy. You just jumped way ahead. Can I get a shout out? I got to that. You say this name. Come on, D Menace. I'm not even, I don't even know how to say that shit. Imagine Maxx with the Packers. Sheesh. Imagine Maxx with the Packers. Imagine the Raiders listening to me and going and getting Micah Parsons, a month ago. And then they could have traded Maxx Crosby and, got all their draft picks back and been in the same position that the Cowboys are in right now. Same position, right? The Cowboys are in that sweet spot. They got, 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. That could be the Raiders. Crosby isn't going to give him a ring either. Right? I want him to get a ring, bro. And here is not going to be he's not going to be it, right? That, he can go in there and turn that Dallas defense around, who has way more weapons and stars than we have. Their offensive line is 10 times better than us. Dak Prescott, like I said, is playing lights out. And then you have the Buffalo Bills, right? You have the Buffalo Bills that have lost their last 2 games, are struggling. They were predicted to win the AFC and, this be their year to make it to the Super Bowl. Could you imagine Maxx Crosby in a Bills uniform? And then you have the 49ers, right? A team that has been giving up points, but they have Mac Jones as a backup who's out there, slinging the rock all over the field and still putting up enough points for them to win. So you have the 49ers in the mix. You have, teams like Washington who could be in the mix. I mean, every team in the NFL would be in the mix for Maxx Crosby. Trade a team that has the best draft capital. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you trade him to Dallas, you're going to get 2 middle-round picks, right? I believe 17 and 26 or something. So that's not the greatest, right? But how many teams, have top picks that they're willing to give away? And there's not too many teams that have 2 first-round picks this coming up year. That is the key for me. If we get 2 first-round picks this year, plus the one we're going to have, that's 3 first-round picks. That changes this whole franchise for many, many moons. Depending on who's drafting the guys, makes a big, big difference. Big difference. We need new ownership, man, completely awful. I know everybody keeps saying that, but look, Do you really want your ownership being like the Colts owner? You know, that lady that's down on the field with the headset on, demanding, shit, telling people where to go, what to do. When she's a owner, constantly looking over your shoulder, nobody's gonna want to coach like that. Most coaches prefer their owners to just sign checks and get the hell out of the way, right? It's the general manager's job. It's the coach's job to bring in guys. It's their job to make this franchise work. It's not the owners. Most owners aren't hands on. They pay somebody else to do that. So, Mark Davis is signing the checks whenever he needs to. It's just the people that are in his ear telling him bad choices that he's listening to that are not helping this franchise. So I don't put it all on Mark because, man, he's done everything he can do, right? Every time the Raider fan base wants somebody fired, Mark Davis fires them. Everybody wanted AP hired. He hired AP. Everybody wanted AP fired. He fired AP. Everybody wanted Pete Carroll was the last and the best choice around. We went and got Pete Carroll. Now everybody wants Pete Carroll fired. Like, Mark Davis does everything we want him to do. It's not our fault that the fan base and the people that he listens to mostly are dumbasses. Like, that's not it's not the fan base's fault. Some of it is, but not all of it. So, I don't know what else we can expect from an owner, right? Do you really want a guy that doesn't know football, that doesn't know the business the way his father did in day-to-day operations? I don't. I like the way Mark Davis runs shit, right? Get guys that you think can run the organization. The fact is, the guys that he's trusting his faith in are letting him down, man. Are letting him down. Like the players do us every single week. Like the coaches what they bring in every single week. Way easier to be a glorified as a QB than a defensive end. Oh yeah, I mean, shit. That's where the money is, right? That's where the money is. Carr was the GOAT. I mean, look at the situation we're in, right? Everybody wanted Carr out. Everybody wanted Carr out. We've paid over $150 million for quarterbacks since he's left. And just gave him away. Just gave him away. You got no draft picks. You got no money. You got no players. You just released a top quarterback in the NFL. We don't deserve to win football games, in my opinion. We don't deserve to win. We don't deserve to be one of those teams that's constantly in the Super Bowl, constantly in the playoffs, battling for a Super Bowl, the way we do our players. I said this last 2 years ago with Devontae Adams. This is going to be another curse that haunts us for another 4 or 5 years. We gave up 2 first rounds and a second, I do believe, for Devontae Adams. To have him for 2 years. 2 years. We gave up a 3rd round pick for Geno Smith. For him to throw 10 interceptions in 6 games. The decisions are horrible, man. Absolute horrible. The people making the decisions, the people paying the people making the decisions. And you can't just go and, fire every single person in the building because who's going to hire the rest of the people, right? Mark Davis? Come on, man. We're screwed, bro. There's nothing this franchise can do right now. The only way the Raiders get out of this hole is to trade Maxx Crosby. That's it. You get a 1st round this year or 1st round next year. That gives us our quarterback and an offensive lineman, right? Or our quarterback and a linebacker, our quarterback and a safety, our quarterback and a number 1 flipping receiver that we've been missing since we let Devontae Adams go. Who, oh, by the way, I believe is tops in the NFL in touchdowns for the Rams. But he's a diva, right? He's soft. He can't catch the football. Trade Devontae Adams. Damn. Y'all should have traded him a year before when I said to trade him with Colton Miller. We wouldn't be having these conversations. Can I get a high, please? Falcon HGWN. What's good? Salute to you. Hi, how are you? Mark Davis loves wasting money, right? Just throws that shit around. Throw something to me, bro. Throw something to me. Um, don't let no one get you down. Raiders for life, through thick and thin. Oh, I don't let nobody get me down. Appreciate you, Gabrielle Avila. Um, let him want to go. I want to go back. Um, homie's tired of losing, and don't blame him. Right, right. How could you blame somebody that, you know, that gives his heart, his soul, that's in the building from 5 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night every single day for a franchise that just continually fails him. We failed Derek Carr. We failed Maxx Crosby. We failed all our draft picks. Amari Cooper, like all these dudes that we've drafted, we failed and they won out and they want to go somewhere else. Nobody wants to stay in Vegas. There's a problem with that. There's a huge, huge problem. It's only getting worse. Told you 10 years ago, 10-year rebuild at least. Come on, man. It's not that far. It shouldn't take that long. Damn. Why is everybody getting deleted? You ain't got no class? I grew up watching the Raiders play. I will never, never forget when they lost against the Bucks. I mean, another stupid ass decision, right? Hit them like buttons, man. Tap the screen. All you gotta do is double tap the screen. I'd appreciate it. Helps me stay in the algorithm. Helps YouTube know that people like this content I'm putting out, and I'm not just doing this shit for myself. I'd appreciate you. Thank you. But that Bucks game was horrible. Another horrible decision, right? What team trades away their coach that has them in the playoffs and winning the division for the first time in I don't know how long, 20 years? They finally win the division. Okay, 2016, but still, 6 years, 8 years, they finally win the division. They got, two of the best receivers in the NFL. You got a quarterback that, that's smart, that can run the offense. You got running backs. You got a top defense. And then you trade away your coach? That was a stupid Mark Davis move, bro. That was dumb as hell. Can't make this shit up. But was even more dumb by Mark Davis was firing Del Rio to bring John Gruden back. Now the John Gruden thing worked. But firing Del Rio, man, that team was going to be special. And I believe they were going to be special for a while if they didn't blow it up. But we'll never know. Napoleon Kaufman was, yeah, man, lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle. Throw what back for us? What you talking about? Go Raiders. Pancho Villa, what's good? What's good? Raider Menace says Raiders expect to bring in $86 million. What? With the operation that cost around $2.4 million. Marky's winning in all of this. I don't like Mark. I mean, every owner wins though, right? It's not just Mark Davis. It's every owner in the NFL wins. Right? They pay these guys, ridiculous amounts of money, but they make 100 full what they're paying. So it's not Mark Davis's fault, right? He wasn't asked to be handed the Raiders. He wasn't asked to inherit the Raiders. And, in all honesty, it's not even Mark Davis's team. It was really left to his mother. That's, so it wasn't even really his team. She just wasn't, involved and let her son handle the operations, which that was a mistake from the get-go. You should have let somebody else that knew football, they should have had plans. Al Davis should have had a plan to say, all right, if something happens to me, Mark Davis takes over this team, but these guys are in position to help him because the people that were in the building in position to help him, just let him keep making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. 31-0, victory E. Yeah, man. Just total ass stomping, bro. Total ass stomping. You can't make it up. All this basketball on right now. What time the Lakers play? Damn, my food's getting cold as hell. We need to start a GoFundMe for Amy Trash to be majority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders. She can turn this shit around. That would take a hell of a lot of money, bro. Sorry, I'm trying to eat. That would take a lot of money, bro. Start a GoFundMe for me. I want to own the Raiders. I'll hire her. That would be my first hire for sure. Definitely. To be honest, we need to sell the Raiders. What? Under him, he will never have a winning team. I mean, how can you say somebody won't have a winning team with what he's done for the Aces, right? He's got the right people in position there. Like, that team has dominated the WNBA since they moved from San Antonio, right? So he's a smart businessman. He knows how to make shit work. This franchise is just cursed. And there's people in the building, and I don't know who they are, but there's old ass people that have been in this building for a long, long, long time that are still making decisions that need to be found and released, right? Because the decisions they've been making are absolutely crazy, bro. It's just crazy. And don't think for a second with Tom Brady in the building that he's not gonna somehow find a way to one day own these Raiders outright. You think he just bought a minority piece of the Raiders, just to build his name and his legacy more? Hell no, bro. He wants all of this team. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. My Browns, shout out to Victor E. My Browns have had over 40 starting quarterbacks over the last 25 years. You guys don't know the meaning of pain. Our record begs to differ. I know you've had a bunch of quarterbacks, and that had to have been fun to watch, right? I mean, you get a different quarterback every couple games. As a Browns fan, that's got to be fun, right? Because as a Raider fan, it sucks knowing you have a damn good quarterback in the building, and they're too stupid enough to put receivers around them. And when they do put receivers around them, they can't afford to put a defense around them. So we're right there with you, bro. I think we passed the Browns for most losses over the last 25 years. So we're right there, bro. We feel your pain. The only difference is the Raiders let everybody know they were moving to Vegas. They didn't just pack up and jump ship while everybody was sleeping and shit. Just get a first down, baby. How's Ghost in the building? What's good, my guy? It's been a minute. How you feeling about the season? I think that statement says about sums it up. Yo, we grew up near each other. Crazy to see you on YouTube now. Keep it up, my brother. What? Shit. Shout out, man. I don't know who you are, but hit me up. Email me. Let me know who you are. Keep in touch. Salute my brother. What? We had the money. We drafted Genty and Gino. But the problem, every time I hear Gino, it just makes me want to throw up in my mouth, bro. But the problem is we did nothing with the O-line. That's part of the problem, right? That's a big part of the problem. But is it really? If you look at this offensive line from December on, with JPJ at center, Meredith at right guard, Parham over there, and the other two ends in DJ Glaze, this offensive line got better every single week. They got better every week. But then you get a new coach, a new system, a new blocking scheme. You change all the pieces around like it's a damn jigsaw puzzle. What did we expect? What did we expect? So, yeah, they probably could have used and went, and spent some money on the offensive line. But we didn't have 25 million to go out, and I mean, if we didn't get Geno, it would have been wise to go spend 25 million on, Mekhi Becton or one of these top, top guards, or even one of the top tackles, because DJ Glaze is not cutting it. Let's be honest. He's mid at best, right? He's mid at best. He's constantly giving up pressure. There's constantly guys in his face, and I don't know how PFF grades their shit, but there's no way that these guys have as little amount of pressure is given up every single week as what they do, because they think I'm blind. I'm sitting here watching the game. I know what a pressure is, right? A pressure is, right, the ball deflected. If you change the trajectory, if you make the quarterback throw the ball before the route, before his timing, that's a pressure, right? If you're in the quarterback's face. But no, no, these guys don't get credit for none of that shit. And I think the major problem is, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't think anybody said this. What if JPJ was the guy that went to the to the Raiders PR room and said, "Bro, Christian Wilkins is getting a little freaky, and I can't take this shit no more." What if that's the problem? Because who else was it? Who else was it? Why is JPJ being singled out every single week when he's at least the second best offensive lineman we have in the building? Maybe third. I mean, Dylan Parham's pretty good, right? He's been here a lot longer. Should be farther along than where he is, in my opinion. But, just to guess, what if that was it? What if that was it? Because why else would JPJ constantly be under this damn scrutiny of Alex Kappa? Alex Kappa behind him? He's constantly looking over his shoulder for Alex Kappa. They put Alex Kappa in. He was 10 times worse than JPJ was Sunday against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs stopped blitzing. They weren't even trying to get pressure. They pretty much gave up on defense. They're like, bro, we don't even got to play because y'all just going to kill yourselves. So, to me, there's something going on with JPJ. And it's kind of funny that, Christian Wilkins gets the boot. And right after that, JPJ gets moved to guard. He gets benched, right? There's a competition at center. Then he moves to guard. Left guard, right guard, moves around. Why is he the only one getting pulled when our coach is sitting there preaching that we need practice? Geno Smith, 15-year vet, 14-year vet, needs practice. But Jack Bech don't need practice catching the ball. Dante Thornton don't need help practicing the ball. Darian Porter Jr., a third-round pick, doesn't need to get reps out there. But Geno Smith does. Everything Pete Carroll has said has been a lie, bro. An absolute lie. Every word that has come out of his mouth has been just bullshit. It's bullshit. And this is the one coach that Mark Davis wants to keep backing and says he's not going to fire. He has faith in Spytek and Pete Carroll. I have faith in Spytek. I don't think Spytek has anything to do with this, really. Lawrence, my guy, was good. Appreciate you in the building. But I really, really believe Pete Carroll has to go, dude. Pete Carroll is killing this team, man. Jason Ruiz, what's up, bro? Joe Milton III. Yeah, but it's another project. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. Who else we got in the building? Well, here's what pisses me off the most. As much as I want to see Aiden O'Connell, I don't even think that's even on the table, right? Because Aiden O'Connell has been 8 weeks. He should be fine. He's had the brace off for more than 5 weeks now. I know people that have seen Aiden O'Connell, not with a brace on. So you had wrist surgery. You've had the brace off for a long time. You should have been throwing for a while. Pete Carroll said he's still not in the building throwing, but he's been throwing. Why are you hiding Aiden O'Connell? But the problem is even if Aiden O'Connell was to come back, you can't start him. He's never taken snaps behind Jordan Meredith. You'd have to move JPJ back to center, Jordan Meredith back to right guard, and you'd have to do all that within the next 2 weeks to get ready for Jacksonville. That's a whole lot of moving around, bro. That's a whole lot of moving around. It's crazy, Mark. Mark can put a front office. That's legit. In the areas of a couple year vets, Raiders front office are incompetent. But here's the thing: is he a basketball fan? Maybe he was a basketball fan all his life and not a football fan. Maybe that's what he liked and that was his sport. Because it's not his daddy's legacy, right? That his daddy did leave him in a shithole with a shithole, right? A shithole organization, broke with no money. That he's changed that around. At least we're worth money now. But yeah, the decisions on bringing the right people in the building, man, are I don't know. I don't know how he could get it right with the Aces, but not get it right with the Raiders, man. TB12 can work out a trade with Dallas for Joe Milton. He seems to shine in New England and Dallas. I mean, if you're going to trade Maxx Crosby to Dallas, I'd be like, I want 2 first rounds, I want Stefon Diggs, and I want Joe Milton, and you can have Maxx Crosby. That's what I'd be, because I've seen 2 first rounds, a sixth, a fourth, a fifth, a fifth and a sixth, 2 first rounds, one this year, one next year. That's my asking price. If it's me, some people do know, some people don't know. Stefon Diggs showed up to the Dallas facility today. They sent him home. Coach said, nah, bro. Go back to your house. So Stefon Diggs is not gonna be a thing in Dallas anymore. I'm sure he's on the trading block. If you could get Stefon Diggs, 2 first round picks, and Joe Milton for Maxx Crosby, I'm signing that shit right away, bro. Sign me up. My guy Lawrence says, we had 40 quarterbacks and 39 of them are better than Geno Smith. Talk that shit, my guy. 100% facts. Facts. Becky Harmon is a woman amongst girls. She's light years above the other coaches in the WNBA. She's coached in the NBA. Yeah. They went out and got the best coach, right? They went out and got the best coach. And, they're spending money on players, right? I don't know what their salary cap is, but I know it's a lot lower than most of the teams in the WNBA because they ain't afraid to spend money. And Mark's not afraid to spend money with the Raiders. Dylan's Pickle. It's about whatever you want to talk about, man. Mostly Raiders. But we down to talk about whatever. Jack Kenna in the building. What it do, Jack? Pete is messing over JPJ. I see JPJ getting traded, bro. I see JPJ getting traded. You got a Las Vegas Raiders live stream, yeah. Go Pats. I generally feel bad. What the hell's going on out there? For y'all Raider fans, thank you, Joseph. We feel bad for ourselves too. Haven't been relevant in 20 years. And to top it all off, the man who has officially owned them since 2002 is now their president of football operations. I mean, I don't know if you could say Brady officially. Oh wait, who's owned us since '02? Who's the president of football operations? I don't know. Um, Raiders need to play all the rookies. Man, we've been needed to play the rookies, right? I think a lot of these rookies are better. Dante Thornton Jr. I don't like over Jack Best. I like Jack Best a lot better. But Darian Porter, I think Darian Porter needs to be on the grass, bro. He should have been starting from day one. And I don't know what happened between camp when Pete Carroll was talking him up, saying he was the starter, right? It was him and Eric Stokes. And then all of a sudden, Kai Blue Kelly kind of wiggled his way in there. And Darian Porter hasn't got on the grass since. So, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going on. But Darian Porter needs to be out there. Um, JJ Pegues has shown flashes every time he's been on the grass this year, which has been once. Uh, Tonka Hemingway, all through preseason, has shown flashes, right? Both of these guys have shown flashes. They're a healthy scratch every week. Caleb Rogers looked like, to me, he was the best guard, in preseason and camp. He was holding his own out there, right? He was getting worked a little bit here and there, but strong physical. Why the hell is Alex Kappa behind JPJ? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. You lost to the Bears. A lot of people have lost to the Bears. Aren't they 4-2? What you trying to say, bro? T-Rex, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you. Good hearing from you. Devontae Thornton is that dude, too. Not sure why he's not getting targets. Well, I mean, Dante Thornton is fast. He's big. He's strong. But I knew that was going to be a project, right? I had that as my Raiders, my Raiders sleeper receiver. I thought it would be more like a 5th or 6th round pick. I didn't really think they would take him in the 4th. I didn't see too many other teams willing to take a chance on him. And I thought, it's going to take time. He's not the greatest route runner. He can run routes, but they're not the greatest. His hands aren't the greatest. His vision, right, when it comes to, finding the ball in the air, all those things are going to take time. Jack Best, on the other hand, is an absolute stud. The dude catches everything you throw his way. He's like Jacoby Myers. He has hands of glue. Why he's not out there, I don't know, bro. His separation has been crazy. Candy Apple, what it do? Appreciate you in the building. Bring back John Gruden. John Pallister. I'm down with that. You fire Pete Carroll right now. And look, we hear all the talk, right? All the talk. Everybody's saying fire Pete Carroll. Some people want Pete Carroll gone. Some people don't. The only reason I want Pete Carroll gone is his favoritism for Geno. And his, whatever hate they have going on for JPJ. You can't coach like that, bro. So I don't know if he's out of touch with these younger players like JPJ, and he's, just on Geno's jock. I don't know what it is. Maybe Geno, like I've been saying, Geno has to have some dirt on this man. He has to have some Diddy file somewhere or something, that he's holding over his head saying, if you bench me, it's all coming out. I don't know. I don't know what else it could be, bro. But there's no valid reason that anybody, whether you're 74, 94, or even if you're Ray Charles, could listen to a football game and listen to the announcers and go, damn, I think Geno Smith's a good quarterback. You have to be blind to see that this dude sucks. Now, it's not all Geno, whether it's the system, right? Whether it's Chip Kelly, we'll get into that. Gio Max said, I really believe Mark Davis is a lesbian trapped in a Nini's body. Arnie Garza, what it do, my guy? Fucking trading Max. It's only the Cowgirls wanting to trade Parsons $48 million per year, while Max is 36. It's a effing joke. Man, what's a joke? Is the Raiders didn't pull the plug when Michael Parsons was on the trading block. What's a joke is the Raiders weren't the first one to call. And I know we have a whole bunch of other problems, but if you can get a 3-year younger Maxx Crosby that can do it all, he can bull rush, he has power, he has speed, he has strength, he has all that shit. Why wouldn't you go do it? So it look like I shit on my face. The Raiders should have went and got. They really should have went and got Michael Parsons. I felt like that would have been the move. You could have got all them picks back, training Max. They need to draft a quarterback or trade for a legit starter. What's good, Karen? Appreciate you. They traded for what they thought was a legit starter. They brought in what they thought was a legit starter last year. The problem is this the people in this flipping organization wouldn't know talent if it jumped up and bit them in the ass. They don't know character. They're judging guys on performance, on stats, on PFF grades, than heart, than judging guys on their love for the game, right? Because that makes a difference. When you got a quarterback that loves the game, that wants to win, that doesn't get up there and talk all this bullshit that Gino does in his press conferences, that's all talk, bro. That dude does not care about football. Nothing he says that comes out of his mouth shows me that he wants to play football. I just want to play football. Then why the hell on the 12-yard line are you backing up 12 yards and throwing the ball on the ground on 3rd and 17? That's not somebody that wants to play football. That's a quitter. So when we keep bringing in, these stupid-ass people and making these dumb-ass decisions, bro, what starter are you going to bring in? That's why everybody says draft a quarterback. Draft what quarterback? Who's going to draft them? Pete Carroll? Spytech? With the 11 draft picks that we had last year that none of them are playing but Ashton Genty and Jack Besh is just out there running routes, learning how to run routes in the NFL because everybody needs practice. But Gino, I don't know, bro. I don't trust us getting a quarterback this year. Trading Max for 2 first rounds, I don't even know if that's going to help, right? Because who are we going to draft? And who's going to draft them? If I'm looking at last year's draft compared to the year before, DeCamarion Richardson should be playing. I believe Tommy freaking Eichenberg should be playing. You already have JPJ playing. You already have Brock Bowers playing. You already have DJ Glaze playing. There's a lot of players from that draft that are playing or should. Amari Gaynor, UDFA, all should be in. We can't say that about any of the draft picks from this year, right? We don't know if Caleb Rogers should be playing. We don't know if Charles Grant should be playing. If he's ready. We don't know if who else? If Cody Lindenberg is ready, right? We don't know if any of these guys are ready to play. Tonka Hemingway, JJ Pegues, because we haven't seen him out there. We haven't seen him out there at all. Max said today he wants to be a Raider 100%. Yeah, but talk is cheap, Kenna. Talk is cheap, bro. He said that a million times. He said that last year and then was like, oh, well, on this podcast, well, if shit doesn't change, I don't want to be here. Man, Maxx Crosby is all about money, bro. Just like everybody else in the NFL, it's money. Money, money, money. If he really wanted to win a Super Bowl like he said, he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be here. And if the internet would break, if you asked Maxx Crosby, do you want to be traded? And he said, yes, I want out. I want out right now. Fucking, come on, bro. The internet would collapse. Like, that shit would break. There would be people, there'd be so many people online, it'd be nuts, bro. So he can't just come up there and say, no, he don't want to be here. But I believe he wants to be here. I believe he wants to be here. I just don't know why. For what? What's the purpose? What are you serving? If you're the GM, would you, what would be your first move? Would you make a trade, cut, or fire? If Max doesn't want to be here, which he says he wants to be here, even if he doesn't want to be here, if I get enough a good enough offer for Maxx Crosby, he's gone, bro. He's gone. But the first move would be Jacoby Myers. You got to get Jacoby Myers out of the building. He said over and over again he doesn't want to be here. He's not giving it 110% out there. You can see it in his game film between this year and last year. You know, he's out there trying to help his team, but he doesn't have faith in this quarterback or this team or this, or the coaching staff. You could see it in his interviews. So Jacoby Myers would have to go. And then, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't go bring in like a corner or a bunch of players because why? Why? I wouldn't make any moves this year unless it was giving guys away and preparing for the future. I'd fire Pete Carroll. I'd fire Chip Kelly. I'd give the job to Patrick Flippin' Graham. And I'd say, now's your chance, right? Turn this team around like Antonio Pierce did when he got to be interim head coach. And if you can do that, the job is yours for the next 3 years. Because for the next 3 years, or 2 years, this year and the next 2 years, sign Patrick Graham to a 3-year deal the rest of this year, the next 2 years, and tell him, if you can turn this team around, if you can draft us a quarterback that we can play day one. Because don't think Patrick Graham doesn't know offense. He's a defensive coordinator, bro. He knows offensive players probably better than the offensive people that are scouting them and drafting them. So to me, I would say, Patrick Graham, now is your chance, right? We hear all this talk about you're going to be a coach next year. You probably won't be with the Raiders. You should have been a coach last year. Show us what you got. Show us what you got. Spytek, he's all yours. Tell him what kind of players you want in the building this year. And if they start winning, the next year, go out and get your quarterback. Go out and get what positions he needs and he feels is right. That's what I would do. Because I'm not, with what I see in Pete Carroll and Geno, with what I see in Pete Carroll and JPJ, with what I've seen in Pete Carroll and Jermaine Pratt and Jacoby Myers and Amari Gaynor, right? All these guys that got released and had Jermaine, like I said, Pratt, all these guys that have got released. There's a problem. There's a problem with that. There's a problem with favoritism. People aren't happy with guys in the building. A lot of people aren't happy with, either one of his sons, one being the offensive line coach and the run game coordinator. But also, a lot of people don't know that Nathan Carroll is also the assistant, like the head offensive coordinator. Not coordinator, but guys that puts together the plan, the guys that says who's going to be on the field, who comes out, who comes in. So a lot of that is all Pete Carroll and the guys Pete Carroll that brought in, right? The fact that Landon Roberts continues to struggle in coverage, but you don't put Tommy Eichenberg out or Cody Lindenberg out there, guys that are faster, right? You don't move Jamal Adams over to that spot. Let him play Mike. The fact that everybody thinks, Devin White has been outstanding this year when he has one of the worst linebacker grades in all of football. Yes, he's made some plays for us, but he's getting cooked in coverage constantly over and over again. The fact that Pete Carroll won't do anything about that, but will let Jermaine Pratt go, who speaks up in the locker room because of the way shit's going. Those are all reasons for firing somebody. The fact that you have a 6th overall pick that got the ball 6 times in the first in the entire game, 1 carry in the first 15 scripted plays, that's all offenses to be fired. So everything that Pete Carroll has done has showed he is not here mentally where he was 20 years ago. Or even 10 years ago. So my first move would be Pete Carroll, bro. You gotta go, because this is like I've been saying. If you keep going with Pete Carroll, right, and we just keep losing this year, and he brings in some draft picks, And then the next year he brings us some draft picks and we get mediocre. What do we do in 3 fucking years? What do we do in 3 years? What do we do? Do we hand the reins to Brendan Carroll? To Nathan Carroll? Is that the plan here? Because if that's the plan, bro, I'm done with this organization, right? No matter what, like clockwork, like you wipe your ass when you take a shit, has to happen. Every coach you bring in is going to bring in his guys. He's going to bring in guys that fit his system, that run his system. Pete Carroll's done it. John Gruden's done it. Dick Daniels has done it. AP did it. Every coach that takes over a new team releases guys that he thinks doesn't fit his system. And usually those guys are the highest paid guys because they are worth the most value. So what use is it for us for the next 3 years to keep going with Pete Carroll? When we're going to have to start over again in 3 years because everybody he drafts, everybody he brings in, if the new coach has a stick up his ass for him, like this coaching staff has for JPJ, the same thing is going to happen. The same thing is going to happen. Why put us through this misery, Mark Davis? Why? Let Spytek do his job. He was brought here by Tom Brady. That's who Tom Brady believes in. Let Spytek pick the coach. Let Spytek build through the draft for however long his contract is. And if it doesn't work, then move the hell